Before you click away, I want you to stop for just a moment. Not because of me, but because I believe this message may be the answer to a prayer you whispered when no one else was listening. Maybe today has been heavy. Maybe this week has left you exhausted. Maybe you've smiled at everyone around you while carrying a weight that no one knows about. Perhaps you've been asking questions like, Jesus, where are you? Do you still hear me? Have you forgotten about me? If that's you, don't leave yet, because today, I want you to hear these words, not as a motivational quote, not as wishful thinking, but as a promise from the heart of Jesus himself. I am with you. Not after your problems disappear, not after your prayers are answered, not after you become stronger. Right now, even at this very moment, there are days when life becomes so loud that it's difficult to hear God's voice. Your phone keeps buzzing. The bills keep coming. Deadlines keep piling up. The news fills your mind with fear. Social media convinces you that everyone else's life is moving forward while yours feels stuck. You compare your beginning to someone else's middle. You compare your struggle to someone else's success. And before long, loneliness begins whispering lies. You're by yourself. Nobody understands. Nothing is ever going to change. But listen carefully. Those voices are not from Jesus, because Jesus says, I have never walked away from you. You may not always feel his presence, but feelings are not the foundation of faith. God's promises are. Think about the sun on a cloudy day. Just because you cannot see it doesn't mean it has disappeared. The clouds simply hide what has always been there. In the same way, your circumstances may hide God's presence for a moment, but they can never remove it. Jesus is still working behind the scenes, still protecting you, still guiding you, still preparing something you cannot yet see. Maybe you're watching this after a difficult conversation. Maybe someone you trusted disappointed you. Maybe your marriage feels fragile. Maybe your family is carrying burdens nobody talks about. Maybe you're working harder than ever, but the breakthrough still hasn't come. Maybe you've prayed the same prayer hundreds of times, and every morning you wake up hoping today will finally be different. Then night comes, and nothing seems to have changed. Can I tell you something? Jesus sees every single one of those moments. He sees the tears that never reached anyone else's eyes. He hears the prayers you were too tired to speak out loud. He knows the silent battles hidden behind your smile. Nothing about your pain has escaped his attention. Jesus wants to remind you today, I was with you yesterday. I am with you today, and I will already be waiting for your tomorrow. That means there has never been a single day you've faced alone. Not one. Even when you couldn't sense him. Even when heaven felt silent. Have you ever looked at your life and wondered, Jesus, what are you doing? You prayed. You waited. And yet, the situation didn't change. The opportunity didn't come. The relationship wasn't restored. The healing hasn't happened. The answer still feels delayed. If you've ever asked those questions, you're not alone. Some of the greatest men and women in the Bible asked the very same thing. Yet every single time, God was already working long before they could recognize it. Jesus wants you to hear this today. Just because you cannot see my hands, doesn't mean I have stopped working. Think about a seed. The day it's planted, nothing changes above the ground. If someone walked past the garden, they would think absolutely nothing was happening. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. Life is forming. Strength is developing. Preparation is taking place. The greatest work happens where human eyes cannot see. Maybe that's exactly where you are today. You keep looking for visible progress, while Jesus is growing invisible roots. The world teaches us to celebrate quick results, instant success, instant answers, instant happiness. But God's kingdom doesn't operate on human schedules. It operates on perfect timing. Jesus never rushes what requires preparation, because he cares more about who you're becoming than how quickly you arrive. Maybe you're asking God to open a door, while he's preparing you for what's behind it. Maybe you're praying for a promotion, while he's building the character you'll need to handle it. Maybe you're asking for influence, while he's strengthening your humility. Because blessings without preparation often become burdens. But blessings that arrive in God's timing become testimonies. Imagine a builder constructing a skyscraper. Before anyone notices the beautiful glass windows, Months are spent digging deep into the ground. Why? Because the taller the building, the deeper the foundation must be. No one celebrates the foundation. People celebrate the finished building. But without the unseen work, everything eventually collapses. Could it be that Jesus is strengthening your foundation? Jesus says, I know you want answers. But right now, you need trust more than explanations. Because explanations satisfy curiosity. Trust transforms lives. Remember Joseph. He dreamed of leadership. But before the palace, there was betrayal. Before influence, there was slavery. Before honor, there was a prison. Imagine Joseph sitting in that prison cell. He probably wondered, God, where are you? Yet every difficult season was preparing him for a position that would save thousands of lives. What looked like rejection was actually a redirect. Maybe you've experienced rejection too. A relationship ended. A job opportunity disappeared. A friendship changed. A door closed unexpectedly. It hurt. It confused you. But what if Jesus was protecting you from something you couldn't yet see? Even when the answers didn't come as quickly as you hoped, Jesus remained faithful. One of the greatest lies we believe is this: if God loved me, life would be easier. But that's not what Scripture teaches. God never promised a life without storms. He promised His presence in every storm. There's a huge difference, because storms may shake your surroundings, but they cannot separate you from a Savior who walks beside you. Think about Peter. When Jesus called him onto the water, Peter didn't receive a guarantee that the waves would disappear. The wind still blew. The sea still crashed. The storm was still real. The miracle wasn't the absence of the storm. The miracle was that Jesus was standing in it. That's where many of us miss God's faithfulness. We keep asking Him to remove every difficulty. Sometimes, He simply reminds us that we are not facing it alone. What if the reason you're still standing today isn't because you're stronger than you think, but because Jesus has been holding you every step of the way? Think back over your life. There were seasons you never thought you'd survive. Moments when fear kept you awake through the night. Yet somehow, you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still searching for God. That isn't an accident. That is evidence of His faithfulness. There is something beautiful about God's timing. Many people only recognize His fingerprints after the season has passed. They look back and realize, He was protecting me when I thought He was delaying me. He was preparing me when I thought He had forgotten me. He was carrying me when I believed I was walking alone. Maybe that's exactly what's happening in your life right now. Jesus says, stop measuring my presence by your circumstances. I am not absent because life is difficult. I am closest when you need me most. Just because the road is hard doesn't mean you're walking in the wrong direction. Sometimes the hardest roads lead to the greatest purpose. Imagine a child learning to ride a bicycle. The child thinks they're riding alone. They are nervous. They're afraid of falling. What they don't realize is that their father is running just behind them, one hand close enough to catch them if they stumble. That's often how Jesus works. You may think you're carrying the entire weight yourself, but His hand has never moved away. And perhaps the greatest comfort is this: Jesus already knows how your story ends. You only see today's chapter. He sees the entire book. You see delays. He sees preparation. You see uncertainty. He sees a future filled with hope. So before we continue, I want you to pause for a moment. Take a slow, deep breath, and listen to these words as though Jesus Himself is speaking directly to your heart. Do not be afraid. I know your name. I know your struggle. I know the burden you've been carrying. And I have not left you. Even now, I am with you. Let those words settle deep into your heart. Not every closed door is a punishment. Sometimes, it's divine protection. Jesus says, I close some doors because I love you too much to let you walk through them. Think about that. How many times have we begged God for something that later we thanked Him for not giving us? Perspective changes everything. The disciples experienced this lesson firsthand. One night they were crossing the Sea of Galilee. Suddenly, a violent storm appeared. The waves crashed over the boat. Fear filled their hearts. And where was Jesus? Sleeping. Imagine how confusing that must have felt. The storm was real. Their fear was real. Yet Jesus remained completely at peace. Why? Because he wasn't focused on the storm. He already knew the storm wouldn't have the final word. Sometimes Jesus is calm, not because he ignores your problems, but because he already knows your victory. Jesus speaks to you today. The storm you're facing has an expiration date. Read that again. The storm has an expiration date. It may last longer than you expected, but it will not last forever. Pain has an ending. Waiting has an ending. Fear has an ending. Because God's faithfulness never expires. Can I ask you something? How many times has God already brought you through impossible situations? Think back. There was a season you thought you'd never survive. Yet somehow, you're still standing. Why? Because every time you thought you were holding on to Jesus, he was actually holding on to you. There's a reason Jesus called himself the Good Shepherd. Sheep don't know every twist in the path. They simply follow the shepherd. The shepherd sees dangers they cannot. He knows where fresh water is waiting. He knows where safety is found. The sheep don't need the entire map. They simply need to stay close to the shepherd. Maybe you've been asking God for the entire map, but Jesus is saying, just take the next step with me. Here's something powerful to remember. Faith doesn't grow because everything goes your way. Faith grows because Jesus proves himself faithful again and again and again. Every answered prayer, every unexpected provision, every moment of peace in chaos, every door he opens, every door he closes, every delay, every breakthrough. Together, they become evidence that God has never stopped working. Jesus says, your story is still being written. Don't judge your life by one difficult chapter. The author hasn't finished yet. The chapter you're living today may become the testimony someone else needs tomorrow. Maybe today, you're standing in the middle of your story. You don't understand why this chapter feels so difficult. But one day, you'll look back and realize, this wasn't the chapter where God abandoned me. This was the chapter where he prepared me. So wherever you are, whether you're driving to work, sitting in your living room, walking through a hospital hallway, or lying awake late at night, Jesus wants you to hear these words. I have gone before you. I am walking beside you. I am working behind the scenes. And I will never leave you. Hold on to that promise. There is something about waiting that almost everyone struggles with. We don't mind praying. We don't mind believing. What we struggle with, I'm waiting. Because waiting feels like nothing is happening. Days turn into weeks. Weeks become months. Sometimes months become years. And quietly, a question begins to grow inside us. Jesus, did you hear me? If you've ever asked that question, you're not alone. But today, Jesus wants to answer it. Yes, I heard every prayer. I heard the one you prayed with confidence. I heard the one you whispered through tears. I even heard the prayer you couldn't put into words. I have never ignored your voice. Sometimes, my answer isn't delayed because I don't care. Sometimes, it's delayed because I care more than you realize. Think about a farmer. He plants the seed. He waters the soil. He works faithfully every single day. But the harvest doesn't appear overnight. Imagine if he dug up the seed every morning just to see if it was growing. He would destroy the very thing he was hoping for. Faith means trusting God, even when you cannot yet see the harvest. Maybe you've been checking the soil every day, looking for immediate answers, searching for visible change, wondering why your breakthrough hasn't arrived. Jesus says, don't dig up what I'm still growing. That one sentence might change your entire perspective. Because God is often working beneath the surface. There are prayers that God answers immediately, and there are prayers that God prepares you for. The second answer often becomes the greater blessing, because Jesus doesn't simply want to give you something. He wants to prepare you to keep it. Perhaps you've been praying, Jesus, change my situation. But what if Jesus is first changing you? Because sometimes the greatest miracle isn't around you. It's inside you. A stronger faith. A softer heart, greater patience, deeper trust, unshakable peace. These miracles cannot be bought. They are built. One of the greatest examples is David. God promised David he would become king. But David didn't walk from the pasture directly to the palace. There were caves. There were enemies. There were years of waiting. Imagine how confusing that must have been. God had already spoken, yet the promise still seemed far away. But every cave became a classroom. Every challenge became preparation. Every delay shaped the leader David would become. Jesus says today, I will never waste your time. Every season has a purpose. The season of learning, the season of trusting, the season of growing, the season of healing, the season of preparation. Even when you cannot understand it, I am doing something eternal. Have you noticed something? The strongest trees are rarely the fastest growing trees. Why? Because they spend years developing deep roots. When storms come, they remain standing. The shallow tree falls first. The deeply rooted tree survives. Jesus isn't interested in building a temporary faith. If you've stayed with me until this moment, I don't believe it's by accident. I believe Jesus has been speaking directly to your heart. Not because you're perfect. Not because you've never doubted. Not because you've always been strong. But because He loves you. Exactly as you are. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to stop for just a moment. If you're driving, simply listen. If you're at home, take a slow, deep breath. Let the distractions fade for a moment. Because I want you to imagine something. Imagine Jesus standing right in front of you. Not disappointed. Not angry. Not keeping a record of every mistake you've ever made. Instead, His eyes are full of compassion. The same eyes that looked at Peter after Peter denied Him. The same eyes that looked at the woman caught in adultery. The same eyes that looked at Zacchaeus hiding in a tree. The same eyes that looked at Thomas who struggled to believe. The same eyes are looking at you today. And Jesus gently says, look at me. Not at your problems. Not at your fears. Not tomorrow. Look at me. Because when Peter looked at the waves, he began to sink. But when he looked at Jesus, hope returned. Maybe you've been looking at the waves for too long. The doctor's report, the bank account, the broken relationship, the uncertainty, the future. Jesus isn't asking you to pretend those things don't exist. He's asking you not to let them become bigger than He is. Jesus says, I have carried you farther than you realize. Think about where you were 5 years ago. Look at everything you've survived. The heartbreak, the disappointment, the uncertainty, the sleepless nights, the moments when you thought, I don't know if I can keep going. Yet, here you are, still breathing, still believing, still listening. That didn't happen because you were strong enough. It happened because Jesus never let go of your hand. Sometimes we ask, Jesus, why didn't you remove the storm? And perhaps Jesus lovingly answers, because through the storm, I showed you that I was enough. Sometimes He calms the storm. Sometimes He calms His child. Both are miracles, because His greatest gift isn't always changing your circumstances. His greatest gift is giving you His presence. Jesus says, when everyone else walked away, I stayed. When people misunderstood you, I understood. When nobody saw your tears, I collected every one of them. When your heart broke, mine broke with yours. When you felt forgotten, heaven still knew your name. Maybe you've spent years believing you're too broken, too far gone, too damaged, too sinful, too weak. But that's not what Jesus says. He says, you are still mine. Not because you've earned it, but because His love has never depended on your performance. His grace reaches farther than your failures. His mercy is greater than your mistakes. His love is deeper than your darkest night. He's building a faith that will stand through every storm. Maybe that's why you're still here. Not because life has been easy, but because Jesus has been strengthening your roots. There were moments when you thought you were breaking. In reality, you were becoming stronger. There were nights when you thought you were losing hope. In reality, God was teaching you to depend on Him instead of your circumstances. Here's something many people don't realize. Sometimes God delays the blessing because someone else's story hasn't reached yours yet. Think about that. There are people you'll meet tomorrow who needs the testimony you're living today. If God skipped the struggle, you would never have a story that encourages someone else. Your pain may become another person's hope. Your healing may become another person's faith. Your breakthrough may become proof that Jesus still works miracles. Jesus says, "Don't underestimate what I can do through one surrendered life." Your kindness, your faith, your prayers, your obedience, they reach farther than you can imagine. There are moments when God seems quiet, not because He's absent, but because He's inviting you to trust Him more deeply. Think about a teacher during an exam. The teacher isn't speaking much. Does that mean the teacher left? No. The teacher is still in the room, watching, encouraging, believing the student can succeed. Sometimes God's silence isn't abandonment, it's confidence. He already knows what is placed inside you. Jesus wants you to hear this today. I believe in what I placed inside you. You see weakness. I see strength. You see failure. I see growth. You see delay. I see preparation. You see today's struggle. I see tomorrow's testimony. Take a moment and remember all the ways God has already been faithful. The prayer He answered, the door He opened, the protection you didn't even recognize, the accident that never happened, the opportunity that arrived unexpectedly, the peace that came in the middle of chaos. Those weren't coincidences. They were reminders. Jesus has been with you all along. So don't quit now. Don't let temporary disappointment convince you to abandon eternal promises. You're closer than you think. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because Jesus is still walking beside you, and He never leaves what He begins unfinished. Listen carefully as Jesus speaks these words directly to your heart. The chapter you're living is not the end. The waiting is not forever. The silence is not my absence. The delay is not my rejection. I am preparing something greater than you can imagine. Hold my hand a little longer. Trust me one more day. Your breakthrough is closer than you realize. One day, you'll look back on this season, not with regret, but with gratitude, because you'll realize this was the season where your faith became real. This was the season where Jesus became more than a story. He became your strength, your peace, your refuge, your closest friend. Maybe you've been asking God to change your life, but today, perhaps He wants to change your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "Jesus, what are you teaching me through this?" That one question has the power to transform every difficult season. Because purpose changes pain, hope changes fear, faith changes everything. Now, I want to pray with you. Not a complicated prayer, just an honest conversation with Jesus. If these words reflect your heart, pray them quietly wherever you are. Prayer: Jesus, thank you for reminding me today that I am never alone. Even when I couldn't feel your presence, you never stopped walking beside me. Forgive me for the times I believed fear more than your promises. Forgive me for the moments I thought you had forgotten me. Today, I choose to trust you again. Carry the burdens I've been trying to carry by myself. Replace my anxiety with your peace. Replace my fear with courage. Replace my confusion with wisdom. Strengthen my faith when I become tired. Give me hope when I feel discouraged. Help me remember that your timing is always perfect. Teach me to trust you one day at a time. Thank you for loving me even on my weakest days. Thank you for never giving up on me. And thank you for the promise that you will never leave me nor forsake me. I plan my future, my family, my dreams, my worries, and my entire life into your hands. In Jesus' name, Amen. If you prayed that prayer, I want you to remember something. The moment this video ends, Jesus isn't leaving. His presence doesn't disappear when the music stops. He'll still be with you when you wake up tomorrow, when you walk into work, when you face that difficult conversation, when you sit in traffic, when you lie awake at night, when you celebrate your victories, and when you walk through your valleys, because His promise has never changed. Listen one last time, as if these words are coming directly from the heart of Jesus. I know your name. I know your future. I know every fear you've been carrying. I know every prayer you've whispered. I know the dreams you think are impossible. I know the pain you've hidden from everyone else. And through it all, I am with you. I was with you yesterday. I am with you today. And I will walk with you tomorrow. So don't be afraid, because I will never let go of your hand. If this message found you at exactly the right moment, don't keep it to yourself. Someone you know may be carrying a burden they haven't told anyone about. Share this message with them. It might be the reminder they desperately need today. And before you leave, write these 5 words in the comments as your declaration of faith. Jesus is always with me. Every comment becomes a testimony. Every testimony reminds someone else that they are not walking alone. May the peace of Christ guard your heart, strengthen your faith, and remind you every single day, you are deeply loved, completely known, and never alone. Subscribe for more inspiring Christian content every day. Until next time, may the Lord bless you, protect you, and fill your heart with His perfect peace. God bless you.